This right here is the FlightScope Mevo Plus Limited Edition. It is the very best version of my all-time favorite launch monitor. So the question is, should you buy it? Well, despite being the best version of my personal favorite launch monitor, the answer of whether or not you should buy it is a resounding maybe. In this review, we're going to cover all the pros and cons. We're going to talk about what's different from the limited edition to the regular version, and I'm going to help you decide if it's worth buying, because there's a lot to love about this, but there's a couple reasons you might want to hold off and get the regular Mevo Plus or a different product altogether. So if you are in the market for a high-end launch monitor and you want to see if this is the right one for you, keep watching. That's what we're talking about in today's video. At the end of this video, if you're still not sure which launch monitor is right for you, I would recommend you go take our 30-second quiz. You're going to answer a few questions about what you're specifically looking for in a launch monitor, and I'm going to give you my best recommendation on the product I think is going to be the best fit for your needs. It's super fast, and I think it's going to be super helpful. There's a link below. You can even do it right now while you're watching this video. So some quick history on the Mevo Plus. It originally came out in 2020, and then last year in 2023, it got a little bit of a refresh. Still generally the same product, but got a little bit of a different stand design, a little bit better battery life, and it had a few extra features that the original didn't have. So this, the limited edition, is essentially still the same as the 2023 model with a few updates and improvements. So if you want the full detailed review about the Mevo Plus, all the pros and cons, all the things I love and don't love about it, I would go watch that video, which I will link to below. But this specifically, we're going to talk about whether or not it's a good deal and if the new features it rolls into this make it something you should buy. So to avoid burying the lead, let's talk about what the differences are between the limited edition version and the previous version. Well, for starters, the obvious one is that it looks different. Instead of a red motif, it now is in a gray motif. They've updated the front to have the most up-to-date FlightScope logo, as well as fusion tracking across the front, which, if you're wondering what fusion tracking is, it's essentially what FlightScope does, where they combine the Doppler technology with the camera technology to give you even more accurate results from the launch monitor. It's pretty cool, and they obviously think so because they put it right across the front here. Outside of the aesthetic updates, there's three major things the limited edition provides that the other one doesn't. The first is it has the Pro package built in. This is a $1,000 update to the regular Mevo Plus that includes all of your club data. So things like face to path, face to target, club path, the only way to get that data is to have the Pro package, and the limited edition version has that built in. This also includes impact detection. So impact detection is a $500 add-on to the regular Mevo Plus, but you also have to have the Pro package in order to use it. So if you want impact detection, it's going to be generally $1,500 over the standard Mevo Plus. And what that does is it shows you exactly where on the club face you are making contact with the ball. And I'm not going to lie, it works remarkably well. So if you've struggled with hitting the ball in the center of the club face, this is an add-on that's going to be extremely useful for you. Finally, the last thing you're going to get with the limited edition is a special package for E6 Connect. So if you're looking to use this as a simulator, you're going to get better courses than you would get if you just have the standard Mevo Plus. One of the really cool things about this is it includes both mobile access and PC access. So if you want to truly build out a home simulator and have the best performance possible, you can use the PC version, which is going to provide a much better experience. What you'll find is many other launch monitors, especially less expensive ones, like the Garmin R10, the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, they will only include the mobile version of this, and they definitely won't include as many courses. So the fact you're getting 12 courses and both PC and mobile access is actually a pretty exciting update to this. So now that you know what the FlightScope Mevo Plus Limited Edition is all about, what I want to do is do a quick recap of the things I love about this, the quick recap of the things I don't love about this, and then we're going to talk about whether or not this is actually a good deal and if you should buy this, or if you should buy the regular Mevo Plus, or if you should buy something else entirely. Like I said, if you want the full review where I break down the setup, the impressions, all the features, all the modes, all of that stuff, watch the video below, because essentially it's the exact same as the launch monitor that came out last year. This one just has some of those extra packages built in, as well as some better courses on E6. But with the way it's all priced and some of the discounts you can get out there, that's going to factor in as to whether or not this is the right buy for you. So first, let's just call out the things that I don't like about the Mevo Plus. Some of these might be deal breakers for you, and I don't want to waste your time if this is not the right device. So first off is because it's mostly Doppler radar based, it does not go beside guide you like some camera-based systems do, like the Unicore iMini, the SkyTrack Plus, or the Bushnell Launch Pro. It's going to have to sit about 7 to 8 feet behind the ball, and then you're going to need 7 to 8 feet in front of you for flight path. So essentially, if you want to be able to use this indoors, you're going to need about 16 feet of total space in order to set it up properly. You can use it with less space behind the ball, but you're not necessarily going to get the best results. So if space is a primary concern for you and you're wanting to use this indoors, this may not be the best fit. Speaking of accurate results, you're going to want to spend a few extra minutes setting this up if you want to get the best results possible. This is probably my biggest critique with the Mevo Plus. If you don't really take the time to make sure that it is in the proper position with the proper tilt and roll, you will notice the results probably aren't going to be as accurate as you would expect them to be. That being said, when you take the time to get the alignment right, the tilt, the roll, you dial it in, everything is fantastic. It just usually takes an extra couple minutes, especially if you're going to the range or putting it in a new location each time you use it. Aside from those two things, which are my biggest concerns, there's a few other minor quibbles, like the fact it doesn't have quite as many connectivity options as some other devices, and for some reason, it's still not using a USB-C port. It's got an older USB mini port that just is kind of annoying when 9 times out of 10, the only cable I have is a USB-C cable. It's not a huge deal, but it's just something I wanted to bring up. It also doesn't have a built-in display, so for someone that doesn't want to deal with an app every time you use it, that might be a drawback for you as well. But for those critiques that I have about the system, there are so many reasons to love the Mevo Plus. First off, the sheer number of metrics and data that you have available to you, especially in the limited edition version where you are getting the Pro package, you're getting impact detection, you're getting all of that built in. There's no other launch monitor that provides that much data for anywhere close to this price. I mean, we're talking about like features that only like a TrackMan can provide, and you're getting it all for like $3,500. That's pretty insane to me. Which also takes us into, this is the best value out there. It is certainly not the cheapest device, but when you look at what you get for that price, and most importantly, the fact there is no ongoing subscription, it makes the Mevo Plus a no-brainer for a lot of people that want the best data possible, the most data possible, and they want it at a price point that's not going to keep charging them every year just to use basic features. The portability of this device is also fantastic. It's small enough you could literally leave it in your golf bag if you wanted. So while yes, if you want to use it indoors, it does take a fair amount of space. It's also very easy to take it out to the range and use it before your rounds. You can use it at the range. You can use it in your backyard. You could use it in your basement. The portable size and the included carrying case is really nice, especially when you compare it to other systems that are camera-based that are quite a bit bigger and a lot less portable. Another area where the Mevo Plus shines is in third-party connectivity. So whether it's Awesome Golf, GS Pro, the Golf Club 2019, E6, regardless of what it is you like to use, there's a good chance the Mevo Plus is compatible with it, and it doesn't have that subscription fee like the Launch Pro, like the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, like the SkyTrack, like the Unicore. For the most part, with a couple exceptions, if you want to use any of those products with third-party solutions, you're going to need to pay a subscription fee. So there you go. Those are a few of the pros and cons of the Mevo Plus, some of the reasons I like it, some of the reasons I don't like it. But again, I covered most of that in my previous review. So what we want to talk about today is whether or not it's worth buying the limited edition where you get some of those extra things built in. And then when I'm done with that, I'm also going to be talking about some of the features that FlightScope's going to be rolling out in the next couple months for the Mevo Plus that are pretty exciting. So stay tuned for those. Okay, so whether or not this is right for you really comes down to what you want to use it for and what your budget is. So this retail is $3,500 or $34.99. You can use our Breaking 80 coupon code, which is listed below. It's going to save you 5%, which is going to drop the price down to a little over $3,300. Pretty killer deal. But you can use that same 5% off coupon code to use it on the regular Mevo Plus, which, considering they often have sales, will often drop this down to below $1,800. So for just a little bit over half the price, you can still get the same device, which can do a lot of the same things. It just might not have the extras like the Pro package, the impact detection, and a few of those extra courses you're going to get in the E6 package. So if you're not someone that wants to really dig into your swing plane, if you don't care about playing Pebble Beach on E6, and you just want something that's going to give you your basic numbers and allow you to get an idea of where you're at and be able to practice and regain consistency, you probably don't need to spend $3,500 or $3,300 on the limited edition. You can get the regular one, and if you decide you want more data later on, you can always just upgrade to the Pro package. If you know that you want the Pro package and you want the impact detection package and you're looking at retail prices, if you add everything up to be able to do that without discounts, it's going to come out to around $3,700, which then makes this a total no-brainer because not only is it less money, but you're also getting better simulator courses. But when you look at what happens when you use the discount outside of any other sales, it brings the cost to buy all of these a la carte, the Mevo Plus, Pro package, impact detection, and the older version of E6, which doesn't include Pebble Beach or St. Andrews or a few of the other better courses, it comes out to just under $3,100. So $3,100 or $3,300 plus to do this. So at that point, you're paying a couple hundred extra bucks for better looks and better simulator access. At that point, that feels like a reasonable thing to do for me. So all that to say, think about how much you need the extra data and how much you want the extra courses. If you would like all of those things, then this is a total no-brainer buy. It is a killer deal. For $3,300, the fact you can get this and get all of that, there is nothing on the market that comes close. But if you're happy without the extra courses, without the extra data for $1,800, give or take, I mean, again, that is also a fantastic deal. So really, you've got two very solid options, assuming you want the Mevo Plus, depending on what exactly you're looking for. But let's say you don't have space for the Mevo Plus, or you don't want to deal with the kind of finicky setup. What should you get instead? Well, I would probably look to the SkyTrack Plus or the Bushnell Launch Pro. The SkyTrack Plus has a wonderful user interface, and the subscription fees, if you want to use third-party simulator software, is a little bit more manageable. Whereas the Launch Pro is one of the most accurate devices I have ever tested. It's got that built-in screen, which is great, but the subscription fee of $500 a year if you want to use not only third-party software, but if you want to use any of the software that it is capable of interfacing with, you're going to have to spend $500 a year for that gold package, which is going to turn off a lot of people. If this is all confusing to you, well, I get that too. There's a lot of products out there that all essentially do the same thing. They all just do them slightly differently. So what I would do if I were you is I would go take the quiz that I mentioned before. I'll link to that below. That in like 30 seconds, you can get a better sense of what I think is going to be the best one for you. But also go check out our best launch monitors video. That's where I compare all of these back to back and help you decide if you're looking for this, this is the one to get. If you're looking for this is the one to get. I try and make it a little bit more clear and a little bit easier to understand what the difference between all of these launch monitors are. And one last thing I'll add on all that is if you're trying to figure out with the pricing, which Mevo Plus version is best for you, go check out my written review of the limited edition below. There I do a better job of really breaking down when the Mevo Plus is on sale, here's the prices and here's what it looks like. When it's not on sale, here's the prices, here's what it looks like. And I compare it to the Mevo Plus limited edition so you can really figure out what you're getting, how much extra you're spending, if it's worth it, if it's not, and so on. So I know this is all a little confusing, but if you use the links below, you should have access to all the resources you need to make the right decision for you. So just a quick reminder, if you use the code BREAKING80+, you'll save 5% off this. If you buy the regular Mevo Plus, you'll get 5% off that. It's a pretty killer deal. I'm sure you know this already, but if you use that code, I will get a commission. So if you don't want to save money or you think that makes me unbiased, I totally understand. You can go read any other review out there and do your own research. But it helps me out and allows me to do more videos like this if you use it. So hopefully that's a win-win. All right, back to the video. Okay, so now that we've gone through all that, the Mevo Plus in 2024 is still as good as it ever has been, and in fact, it keeps getting better. That's one of the things I love about this. At the beginning of the video, we talked about fusion tracking, where all of a sudden they took technology from their flagship X3 device, which costs over $10,000, and they rolled it down into this. Like, that was a huge free upgrade that everybody got access to. Well, now they're continuing to roll out new features that I'm really excited about. They're making this product better than it ever has. So the features I'm about to talk about are not out yet, but they could be coming out any week now. So keep an eye out if you're a Mevo Plus user or if you're thinking about buying this. The first one, and this is a really big one because this is the only launch monitor I know that can do this, and that is having a real-time shot tracer. So you can be able to, in the app, on your screen, hit a ball, and you're gonna be able to see exactly what the ball is doing in real time, and it's going to give you numbers for your carry distance, for your apex height, and you can see all of that essentially as it is happening. It's pretty wild to think about how much math would have to go into creating something like this, but after testing it out, it works really well, and I'm so excited to see this rolled out on the Mevo Plus. The second feature I'm excited about is the environmental optimizer. So let's say that you live at sea level and you're getting ready to go play a tournament in Denver, Colorado. Well, obviously the ball is going to do very different things because you're at 5,000, 6,000 feet of elevation. Well, with the environmental optimizer, you can pick any place on the planet and you can set the launch monitor to provide real-time settings for any of those locations. So you can say, I want to set the conditions on the Mevo Plus to Fossil Trace Golf Club in Denver. And so there, it's gonna have real-time weather, it's gonna have real-time elevation, and it is going to give you numbers based on how the ball would react if you were playing at that place. So if you're a competitive golfer or someone who travels a lot for golf, to be able to practice and get numbers representative of what the ball is going to do in those locations is really, really cool. To go along with that, they're also rolling out a round planner. Now this is really cool. So anytime from now until 3 days into the future, you can pick whatever golf course you're going to be playing. You can go through the course hole by hole and you can look at exactly what the conditions are expected to be like at that point at that time. So you can say my tee time is at noon, and it's going to look at the weather and what the weather is expected to be like at the first hole at noon, what the wind conditions are projected to be like, and allow you to plot out every single shot of your round. It's also taking into account environmental changes, so elevation, for instance. So it's going to say, all right, it is projected that you're going to hit this drive 240 yards, whereas maybe you normally only hit it 232 yards. And you're gonna be able to plan each step of the way. So if you're a competitive golfer, you can plot out every single shot that you're planning to hit on the course you're going to be playing under the circumstances and the conditions that you're most likely to be playing in. So if you're an average golfer, there's a good chance you may never use this. But if you're a competitive golfer, you want every advantage you can get. And having those notes where you've got every hole and every shot planned out ahead of time, that could give you just enough of advantage to really improve your results. One thing I want to note is all of these features I'm going to talk about will be available to you regardless of which Mevo Plus version you have. So if you bought this in 2020, if you bought this in 2023, or if you get the new limited edition, they will all be available to you. The caveat to that is some of these new features might only be available to people with the Pro package. I don't know what those are. I don't even know if FlightScope has decided who is getting what, but I will update that in my written review as soon as I know. And finally, the last feature that FlightScope's rolling out this year that may be the most exciting of all is Badger AI. So essentially what Badger AI is going to be is it's going to be your own personal golf coach. You know, it could be something as simple as you don't know what face to path means. So you can type into Badger AI, what does face to path mean? And it's going to give you an answer. But you can do that with Google. What makes this so cool is it has access to all of your data. So theoretically, you're gonna be able to do things like, look at the data from my last 5 sessions. What do you think I should be working on? And then you could say, okay, that's great. Can you give me some drills that I can practice specifically to focus on these things? And it will give you drills. It truly is like having your own coach and golf encyclopedia all in one. So it remains to be seen how well this is going to work. I'm not sure when they are rolling this out, but I know everybody at FlightScope from the PGA show, they were all very, very excited about this, which makes me really, really excited about this. So we'll do a full review of how Badger AI works as soon as it's been released, but that's something that if you're a Mevo Plus user, you can look forward to in the near future. So there you go. That is the FlightScope Mevo Plus Limited Edition. With the release of this, it's as good as it has ever been. It still gets my pick as the best overall launch monitor out there for most people for the combination of features, portability, value, everything you get. It truly is one of the best golf products out there. And it's the launch monitor that I personally use the most. This is where I have most of my data. This is the one that I generally find myself gravitating towards. So with that, if you have any questions about this, drop a comment. I will do my very best to answer every single one. If you're trying to compare this to a different launch monitor, drop a comment. I will do my best to answer and help point you in the right direction. But as I mentioned before, go take the quiz that's linked below. That might be the best way to get the quickest response possible around what is right for you. And with that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here, Breaking 80, where we talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. If you got some value out of this, consider hitting subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. And check out the links below for related resources to everything that I have talked about here. I hope you have an excellent day, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Peace.